Everybody ready? As soon as Chris gives me thumbs up, we're gonna, all right, you guys ready? Good evening, all. Welcome to the town board meeting, June 12th, 2023. We'll rise and salute this flag. Jim Niles.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic that stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Hanlon,
Here.
Councilman Lewandowski, Councilman Niles,
Here.
Supervisor Molino.
Here. All right, the first thing on the agenda is going to be a presentation from Eric Sandboom of SRA Engineering regarding the storm water management. What I asked is, move that and speak into it so everybody can hear you,
You
and
bet.
people out in TV land.
Good evening, Eric Sandblom from SRA Engineers, and with me is Paul Kiersgaard. He's the applicant, the property owner in question. This is gonna be a little awkward. I guess what I'll do is I'll say a few things and then I'll grab that drawing to show you and put it back so that the public can still see it. Will that work?
We've got the portable mics, you can stand over next to them.
Yeah, I will do that. Yep. So what we have here is this is an 11 lot subdivision that was actually completely designed and approved back in 2009. And for whatever reason, the project wasn't built. 2009 probably wasn't a great time for real estate, and other things got in the way. And now the owners are ready to build it, basically. And there's a couple things going on here. Number one is that all the Department of Health Realty subdivision approvals expired. They last about 2 years or so. And so that needs to be reapproved. And also there seems to be a lack of good records in the town about, what happened back in 2009. What basically the subdivision includes is a subdivision road, a dead end road. And it was designed with a stormwater treatment that was in accordance with the general permit for stormwater back at that time. And it was designed with curbs and catch basins that would take everything down to the end of the road to a very large infiltration basin is what it is. All the stormwater goes there and it percolates into the ground. And the word is back in 2009 that the town agreed to accept maintenance of the road, and that would have included those catch basins. There's no record that anyone's really been, I think, is that right, Karen? We couldn't find a letter.
DOH, I have a file that shows that someone was supposed to provide to DOH a letter from the town stating whether they were willing to take over the roads and the stormwater system. I don't have that letter in my file, and DOH does not have a record of it either.
So basically, we're kind of starting over with the approvals on this to get them renewed. And also, Paul and his brothers asked us to look at the design of the road a little bit to see if we could improve it. So it's been redesigned without the curbs and the catch basins. Really, what we did is we left the alignment exactly the way it was. All the lots are exactly as they were previously approved. Even the road alignment is exactly the same. It's just that we made some grade changes and we got rid of the curbs and instead have ditches and broke up the treatment practices. So it's not just one big basin at the end of the road. So basically we need to go through the process again with Department of Health, with DEC, and with the town. And we've been going through it with the town planning board. Because of the changes and because of the lack of documentation, we're asking the town to once again consider taking the maintenance of this road. That would include the stormwater treatment practices that are associated with just treating the stormwater from the road. Basically, each one of the individual lots would be required to satisfy their own stormwater treatment. Yet being part of a larger plan development, each of those lots are going to be required to do stormwater treatment for their property, even if they don't disturb an acre. There's no homeowners association associated with this development. What's envisioned is just this evergreen road that would provide access to the lots. And we're just here to present this once again to the town with a request to take it as a town road. And I can give you a little bit of tour if you'd like.
Yeah. Good. Oh, we can see it on the map. Oh, you took it.
Can you
off
see
there.
it? Can you see it okay up there?
From there, it's okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
I
if
can
you can
see
see
it
that,
there.
then I guess that's the easiest way to do it. Still got it there. So it intersects Call Street near the intersection of Ralph Road. And like I said, the alignment of this is exactly as it was approved back in 2009. That we've taken away the ditches and the catch basins. So basically you've got ditches along the side of the road here that will go to a stormwater treatment practice. This is an infiltration basin also. We found good soils there and thought it would be better to break it up rather than send everything down to the end. Then that continues with more ditches on both sides of here. That will then drop into a culvert that will take the water to this treatment practice at the end. So what would become essentially town right away is a width that's a little bit wider than your typical 3-rod right away through here and here, because there was lost space anyway. That was in the original proposal, part of lot 11. So all of this here up to lot 11 would be town right away. And then the right away would extend at the end of the road to include that basin. So there wouldn't need to be any easements or anything like that. It would all just become town right away. And then of course, all the regular maintenance of the road as far as plowing and that sort of thing. And what's involved with the stormwater maintenance is really not too different from roadside ditch maintenance. So vegetation removal, maybe twice a year, you would mow on the side of the road. And keep an eye on it to make sure that it doesn't get overfilled with sediment. Really the alternative would be to keep the owner contractor responsible for it. And that just in our experience, that just doesn't work. Once it's built, they're gone, and it doesn't get maintained. So it's usually what we see in most municipalities. The towns are taking on the responsibility for the maintenance of that type of infrastructure.
What's the length of that road?
It is about 1,000 feet.
Oh, there's two
1,000.
Two basins, two infiltration basins.
before there was one.
Yeah, there was one very large one at the end. And it was all traveling through pipes and catch basins to get there.
I'm assuming that you're only going to be putting gravel and that in the ditches.
The ditches will be grass lined. There will be a few with some stabilization at the very end with stone just to stabilize it.
And the basins will be grass or
Grass,
crushed stone?
just grass.
And can I ask a question? Why was it changed from this curbing and stuff?
Practical, really, just practicality. It's a much simpler design now. And, there were some minor changes to the grade just because the original designer tried to balance the entire site. And so ended up putting a ton of material at the entrance to create a very large embankment, which just really wasn't necessary. And we actually have gotten approval from the planning board for those changes.
If I could add to that, the whole reason why we hired Eric, the original plan, once we had Dara survey, they give us some reference points just to do some preliminary work. And aesthetically, it was like, it wasn't very pleasing. There were some huge fills which we would have to drop way off the road to get to the property, or huge inclines where we'd have to take down a massive amount of trees. And the trees aren't totally numerous, but we like to keep it as treated as we possibly could. So just with the drastic cuts and fills, we kind of wanted a little bit softer. Like Eric was saying, he's trying to balance out the site, I think, to make it, more cost effective, but just aesthetically, it was ugly. I mean, and not practical.
I got one more question. I think Ron should answer some of this. The size of the road is gonna be to our specifications the town has. I'm, right now, I'm just not happy with the town taking over the cleaning of those ditches. Because in the last couple of years, it's been very strict regulations for keeping them clean. And we're going through that in some of the parks the town has. And we're, it's not a cheap thing to do. And maybe I feel maybe you should have a homeowners association to be billed to take care, because you said when you were sitting here, the homeowners were going to take care of them.
The homeowners will take care of the stormwater on their individual properties only. So
That's what I mean. Each one will take care of cleaning the ditch.
no, sorry if I.
No, that's what it made it sound like. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so so they will have to treat the water from their roof and from their driveway,
Right.
and they will have to incorporate treatment practices for those surfaces. But everything that we're showing kind of within this thick dashed line here would be town responsibility. And
So
that includes the ditches,
So the ditches are not on homeowner property.
correct?
Could the blacktop that you'll be putting in, instead of just running it straight across into your side dish, is actually incorporate the blacktop to cause a swale and a actual so-called culvert, whatever you want to say, drainage ditch, going to those locations, which now the only thing we got to worry about is possibly sand or something like this, not worrying about trees, just accumulation of grass and everything else in these side canals, whatever you want to call it. By bringing your blacktop over and causing this ditch or whatever you want to call it, directing it directly to the locations. Right, you can go up there with a fire hose and wash them out. Okay.
Can I
Instead of-
interrupt for just a moment? Couple of things. Jonathan Sokup is here from Cedarwood Engineering. We had given him the stormwater plan to review, and he is willing to speak tonight about that as well as to what this particular design will involve. I asked him to be here so that he could give you information as well as Mr. Sandblum. Also, I wanted to clarify that we are scheduled to have a public hearing on this subdivision at the next planning board meeting. We have not even given final preliminary plan approval yet because we had to put it up for another public hearing. So I wanted to clarify that. And I also would like to give Jonathan Sokup from Cedarwood a chance to speak as well, because he's looked at the design of what they have given to us. I also wanted to ask you, I'm not speaking on behalf of the planning board because I have no vote on it. I'm just there to advise them, but I didn't realize when you presented it to us that the individual lot owners would be responsible for the stormwater on their lots. Is that in the design as well? Does it show what an individual homeowner will have to do on their individual lot?
No, they will need to comply with the requirements of the stormwater general permit for stormwater, or the Speedy's permit for stormwater discharges and construction.
I don't know when you would like Jonathan Sokup.
John, you want to
speak
come up and,
Yeah, sure. I have a question. Can we back up with Mr. Niles' question? What was your question regarding the ditches?
keep forward?
I was the one.
No, prior to that, did you ask if the ditches would be on property or town property? Or did I hear?
I was clarifying supervisor's question
Oh,
as to who maintains the stormwater ditches.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I said that those ditches are on the common property.
oh, no, you're fine.
All right.
So I'll just talk for a little bit, and then if anybody has any questions, I guess we can handle it like that. So, Eric did a good job there presenting and describing the maintenance requirements. And I guess as things progress, like Karen stated, it's moving forward with the planning board at this stage as well. And the DOH Realty subdivision approval, basically the sunset period lapsed, so it has to go back into them as well for permitting. And due to the design changes and the changes to the current design standards, they're also going back into DEC for a general permit for the stormwater pollution prevention plan. So DEC will likely or may have comments on the stormwater as things progress. DOH, even though it was previously approved, they have the authority to basically have them resubmit everything and re-review everything, or basically give them a letter and state it's approved moving forward. So we won't really know until that progresses, and we just ask that the applicant copies, the town and the planning board as they move forward with that process. So we took a preliminary look at the stormwater pollution prevention plan that was provided. I think they did a good job of describing what's currently there. Basically, there's two separate areas, both that have a sedimentation basin, that'll take any of the sediment out, and then it goes into an infiltration basin that'll filter everything out and go into the groundwater. So there is some maintenance required. They do highlight it all within the actual stormwater pollution prevention plan. So basically, you're following the best practices of the stormwater pollution prevention plan with DEC's requirements. So as far as inspections go, they state site cover, associated structures, embankments should be inspected periodically for the first few months following construction, which would basically be their obligation until it's substantially complete with the contractor and certified. And then on a biannual basis after that. And then you perform site inspections following all major, which they describe as intense storms, thunderstorms, cloudbursts, and things of that nature. So you check for just differential settlement of embankments, cracking, erosion, lack of vigor, density of grass, turf, accumulation of sediments or litter on the lawn areas, paved areas, and within catch basins, sumps. I don't know if you have any catch basins, do you?
One. No,
Okay.
actually, no catch basin.
Okay.
Just
Just some swale and
out
culvert
structure for the first infiltration basin.
Okay, and then it's just a visual accumulation of pollutants, including oils and grease and catch basin sumps, damage and fatigue or stormwater structures or associated components. Mowing, sweeping, so typically lawn area should be mowed around 3 times a year, more frequent, if it's desired for aesthetics of the area. Debris, litter removal, just remove any accumulation, structural repair replacement, so that's just visual of any structures that may exist. Catch basins are pretty straightforward, you're just cleaning them out, the basin sumps on an as-needed basis. And then the other item is riprap dissipation structures. So, riprap, it's going to use to dissipate energy from the pipe outfall. So it just needs to be cleaned or replaced when it becomes overburdened with silt or sediment. And there may be winter maintenance required. I mean, these are pretty simplistic, so I wouldn't anticipate much. But as things progress, what we recommend is just that the applicant include the town and the planning board in the correspondence as it moves forward, because the design may change, and we just want the town and planning board to make an educated decision, if the highway department is going to take over maintenance in the future. These systems as they're proposed are, they don't have excessive maintenance associated with them, but there are some maintenance items that are required, such as, the mowing and every now and then the sedimentation basin, over time, it'll fill up with debris. You may have to have a vac truck or get in there by hand and remove debris out of there. So you don't want debris spilling over into your infiltration basin, because if you get fines eventually into your infiltration basin, then you may have to remove soil media and put engineered soil back in that meets your infiltration requirements. So there is basically preventative maintenance required with these types of systems. So DEC gives, in their latest recommendations, gives some preliminary costs associated with it. They can, I don't know how accurate they are, but they say 25 cents a cubic foot for water quality volume, which for a design like this total is just under $1,400 a year. It could be up to 4% construction costs as well. So it just varies, on the area. If it's an area that you want to keep, mowed and keep it, upkept visually, it may be a little more intensive with swales, with making sure they're mowed down with weeds and things like that. So it's just every stormwater system is different. And we just feel the town should be educated on the specific system, on what the exact requirements are for the specific area.
Are other small towns like Luzerne accepting responsibility for stormwater?
Yeah, it varies in our experience, some aren't taking them, some are. It's just the benefit of, what you consider the development to be, and the town is not obligated to take these over. So DOH with the realty subdivision law, they typically require a letter from the municipality stating the willingness to take the roads and the stormwater practices over, but you do not have to. If you choose not to, then they're required to, essentially form an HOA and go that route.
Is that's what's been happening in other small towns if the town doesn't
Yeah,
take over?
if you don't, because somebody has to be held responsible for upkeeping these things.
If an HOA takes it over, do they typically put up a bond?
In our experience, I believe so, yeah.
Ron, do you have any comments that we can hear from you before we talk about it?
I don't see much, like a lot of sand or anything getting on the roads because we switched. We're all salt now during winter. That's where our problem is during the winter when we are sand. I don't see much problem in that area. And to go down there and shovel out at the end, at the catch basin and stuff, it's just, it'll be another day, that's all. So I don't have too much concern.
Well, we can't get the roads we have now. Cut the grass along the edges of because of lack of help and overload of work.
Forward, put another guy on it.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. We might have to put an extra employee on, maybe
Yeah,
two.
there's costs
There's
associated.
costs associated in town and
Oh, just like Ron gave us at our last meeting, or that I was here, I'm sorry to say. 1,500 feet of, I believe it's potash. You estimated the cost of redoing that road at $44,000 for 1,500 feet at this present time. Okay. You spread that over a period of time, what's our cost gonna be in 10 years or whatever, you expect that road to last for? That's all I'm asking about.
you're talking about the road, right?
I got confidence that they'll do it right. That's the right amount of blacktop, the right amount of fill underneath.
That's a
In
question.
other
I
words,
have
that's
is
something you
who
could
does
want to
that
look at,
inspection?
how they're going to put it in, right?
Who inspects the road construction?
If I could, the road specifications are provided in our design plans. And we haven't established a level of inspection in this case, but that's something that, could be done for sure.
Yeah, I assume, but I just want to put it on record, there are no pilot tax programs, incentives in place for this development, right?
Not from us, no.
Not that I'm aware of.
I just like my own, I have to worry. I'm also the budget officer and I have to raise taxes, which is a hard thing. And we have a couple other developments coming in. So I don't want to set a precedent on one and have to take it away from another. So we have to really sit down and decide and think about what the cost could be to the taxpayers of the town to have the road superintendent have his crew out there.
How many
And-
lots is it?
11.
Yeah,
But right now-
Right now it's one lot, so you're gonna go from 1 to 11 in terms of tax base.
Well, and my point is, want to build up, we want to see progress in Lake Luzerne. And there's going to be the next few years, and I'm worrying about a few years from now. Because, and a little bit I'm learning through the county from soil and water on some of the, like with the wetlands we have off of Lake George. We're cleaning them more than they told us 5 years ago that they'd be needed to be cleaned. So he's kind of worried about it.
That's a great resource for stormwater too. If you've got questions about stormwater, the Soil Water Conservation District is an excellent someone you can turn to as far as, understanding these systems and maintaining them and that sort of thing.
I just worry about it, as costs grow year after year after year.
Cedarwood would have staff that could do the inspections for us, right?
Well, typically the inspections would be done, it could be, I'd have to go back through the regulations with the planning board and approval, but essentially it may be part of that with conditional approval. With the engineer responsible for design, doing inspection and essentially certifying it at the end of construction that it meets the requirements that were provided within the plans and specifications. And then maybe a final walkthrough with representatives of the town, and us if we're there too, just for final, when you do take it over at that stage, if you are to take it over. And the other thing I don't know if I touched on well is, these aren't a blanket yes or no with taking over. We're just recommending you, look at each specific site, because the other thing you do have to worry about is accessibility. Whether the design works or not is one thing, but also another thing is getting down in there in specific sections to do the maintenance. It may not be a concern in any of the proposed developments, but just things can progress and change as you go through a permitting process. So we just recommend that, it's all above board and, the town gets their eyes on it. So, if you are to take over maintenance, you can visually see, what you're going to get into, how close you can get equipment, and that you don't need anything specialized.
For, quick question for snow, like for snow removal, Ronnie, would you want curbs or no curbs? Is this gonna have curbs in it?
No.
No.
There's swales, yeah.
They don't do
Curbs are
good.
better than-
Residential for snow removal doesn't really fare as well.
Yeah.
How many proposed lots is there in this development, may I ask?
11 lots.
11.
If it's approved, what's your best guess as to how long it would take you to build it out? Just roughly.
Hopefully a lot faster than getting the approval. Honestly, I don't know, but going back to the maintenance, if you look at the design, as you come off Corinth Road, a lot of the driveways will be a little bit lower than the road. So I'm thinking, I know we don't live in a perfect world, but a lot of these maintenance, I would like to think is gonna be done by the homeowner. I'd like to have nicer homes there. I'm thinking nice yards. They're not gonna want to see weeds growing in the front of their yards. So I'm thinking, if it was me and it was my house, I would be mowing the ditches. I would be taking care of them. So, I mean, I'm thinking minimal, but of course, not everyone thinks the way, we do here. So,
Well, the average person is gonna go out and weed whack the ditch. I would. I mean,
well,
I believe.
You
you're
would like
right
to
about
think that, right?
You'd like to think about.
The problem is you only need one or two that don't.
Yeah.
I think, how long do we have to decide this, Karen?
I think again, we're gonna have a public hearing at this in the end of June and in the meeting, and I think following that, they're looking for, as a minimum, at least a letter of willingness for the town to take over the road or the stormwater system at that point. So, I mean, when are you looking for that approval to go back to DOH at this point?
Yeah, I think that's probably the kicker. I talked to Dan McElrath from the Department of Health. He found the 2009 plans. And it sounds like that they're comfortable with the
I
previous
have
lot
the
designs.
plans, I just don't have.
Right, so what we'll do is we'll use those and then just provide the new road design. So that's all really that they need to look at. And then they will need, in order to reissue, whether they write a letter saying we, authorize the previous development, or they stamp our new plans as approved. They'll need some type of documentation that the town's willing to take that over in order for them to finish their permit.
I'll make one more comment, and to my colleague down the end. You can't have the homeowners cut the grass there or weed whack it, because it's just gonna fill up that basin a lot quicker. And I know we're having that problem in Lake Luzerne and in Lake George with that, because the weeds grow and the grass grows. And if they don't get it out of there, we're back there in a couple of months cleaning out the basin. So there's a lot to it. And the new laws that they have for stormwater runoff is getting really tough.
That's true. And,
Yeah.
I think that you're going to be seeing a lot more proposals like this
Yeah.
that involve stormwater or even,
Well, yeah, they're gonna make you, especially if you're. But we have a couple other projects coming in, so if you're like a. Base that we're gonna have to decide on most of the things.
sure.
And a homeowners association. Might be the right way to go. This way they pay X amount every month. We're all over and we'll have some money to hire another person, 2 people. But as the years go by. The older they get, the more we have to take care of them. So, I mean, you must know that. So.
Would it be possible to, I think maybe Ron would like this, is a actual cross section of how the road is planned on going in, such as down to such and such a base, your filter fabric,
Yep.
and how the road is actually going to be constructed along with showing on the details, the runoff situations. So we got a visual look on how it actually looks like.
Yeah, we have them all.
Before next-
We have them all right here. They've been submitted to the planning board.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions, gentlemen?
What
Karen, you're up, ready?
approximate value of the houses? Here's why I'm asking.
Yeah, that's a good
Here's
question.
why I'm asking.
You know,
Trying to get a ballpark of what tax revenue is gonna be generated from
so we do have one house back there now, so I'm not sure what that's assessed at.
How many square feet?
It's over 2,000.
Is that what the average houses are? I don't know how big the lots are.
We probably will have some restrictions. We usually like to approve the plans. We don't want to, we want to keep it open for, we want local builders, local trades to build the houses if possible. But I don't want to limit it to a certain square footage.
You
But
go
it's gotta-
5,000, 10,000?
Well, I'm thinking 1,600 square feet to 2,600 square feet is probably gonna be our target area.
Really? How big are the lots?
I think-
Roughly?
Think that it's the zoning's a minimum of 1 acre.
That's correct.
Is it 1 acre up there?
And I think we might have one that's 1 acre, the rest of them are all over that, I don't know.
Okay,
He's got it written on the map there.
well, the only reason why I'm asking is I'm work with the building trades, my profession. And I know what square footage is going for today.
Yeah,
Okay, a 3,000 square foot, pretty much plain Jane today, without the price of the property, is going anywhere from $665,000 to $750,000.
and like I said, my mother's living back there now, so I mean. Her house is a nicer house. I'm not sure, like I said, I don't know, we built that a few years ago, so I'm not sure it's assessed that, but that's the kind of vein we're looking for, consistent with that, Craftsman style homes.
How much revenue does a $300,000 house tax revenue generate for the town?
Off the top.
Chris
It's-
wanted to say something. I don't know
Right.
if he's looked up.
I
the
pulled up
assessment.
the assessment on it. 2022 is 332,000, is 386,500 right now.
How much?
Tentative, 386,000.
That's the house that's there.
Yes.
400,000.
And
Well, I can give you a quick answer. If it's a $400,000 house, right now, this year, we pay $2.98 per thousand. So if you multiply that out, that's you find out what your taxes are.
$3 a square, 1,000.
Oh, $3.
Yeah.
It's $400. Well,
so 2 or 3 lots are right at 1 acre and the rest get up to 2 acres.
Okay,
All right.
nice side.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your time.
Well, we thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks to Cedarwood also. for-
Yeah. All right, the next one in the presentation is Tracy Clothier. Is going to be in regards to comprehensive plan that we've been working on for most of the year, mostly a year. Tracy, you got some of those things over there like this? All right.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, I don't need one. I have. I just figured people in the audience.
Oh, I think everybody's.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Right here.
Thanks, everybody.
I got your camera on here.
Is this okay?
That works for me.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. So, this is just a short presentation because we've had so many other presentations about the development of the comprehensive plan. And, the town board had allocated a terrific group of people, very diverse group of people that are on the committee. So we have very good representation from the community. They built this plan on the 2010, what was called the Waterfront Revitalization Strategy and the Comprehensive Plan. And so this is 13 years later, but we used that as the foundation and built on it. We had 7 committee meetings, a field walk downtown to look at the sidewalks and lighting and what have you, and buildings. We conducted a public survey and held 2 public meetings and made a presentation to the town board a few months ago. The team developed a profile of the community that's demographics, land use, just told the story of the community and identified all the contemporary issues for today as best that we could, for growing the population, improving tourism, housing, land use and recreation, and addressing water, stormwater, wastewater, roads, internet, and cell service issues. And I know many of you were at the meeting, so you already know this. Bear with me. So the committee developed a vision. And I'm just going to read most of it. It's very short, but the community's vision is to build a sustainable year-round economy from Luzerne's small town atmosphere, high quality of life, exceptional assets, and strong sense of community. And I only read that because it's a very important piece to how we develop the plan. We recognize that the foundation of this community is so strong and really quite exceptional. And I work in a lot of communities. We can combine the community's assets into a strategy that supports a year-round destination for recreation and heritage tourism that supports and builds on the successful businesses and facilities in Lake Luzerne. In other words, we didn't just come up with a plan for things that wouldn't necessarily work here. We're building on the successes of the community. Utopia, the Artisan Cheese, the Music Center, Double H, Adirondack School, etc. You know what is here. And it's better to build on that and build with the community of people who go there and provide businesses and what have you to them. So having said that, we really had 9 primary projects that we say is a foundation to this plan. And it really, they're starters. Some of them are hard, some of them are not so hard. I'll just say a few words about them. We wanted this plan to be able to have wheels. We wanted it to move. We didn't want it to be stuck on a shelf, as so many are. So there is a implementation committee, and I'm not sure we've activated that yet, but after the plan is adopted, we will do that. The town board will do that and set it as a regular agenda item. And this committee will continually look at the projects, look at the available funding, and try to craft ideas for moving forward that the town board can afford and the community wants. So the first real project that we thought was needed was a tangible one. And that is to build a new playground down in Pavilion Park or Butler Park. And we wanted something that was visible and that said, this community loves its children, wants to attract children and families, and also it would be available to tourists. And I always tell the story of when my kids were little enough to use a playground, I would go all over because Queensbury School built an extraordinary playground. We'd go there and have lunch, get ice cream, whatever. Warrensburg had one. We'd flip around and go different places. Those are called destination playgrounds. And so it can serve many uses here in the community. And it's something everybody loves to take care of the children. So that is underway. The water system rehabilitation, that's an ongoing issue for the town. We keep looking for funding to rehabilitate the water system. And we had good news from Senator Schumer and Gillibrand that they have put forth our application for, I think it was 1.25 million to the committee down in the Senate that deals with infrastructure. So it's made it through a big hoop, and now we have to get through the second hoop. It's by no means in the bag, but we're hopeful. Hamlet revitalization strategy, well, that's really a strategy that includes a business attraction and retention plan. Updating the town's zoning ordinance, well, that also includes the zoning subdivision regulations, and through this process, we discovered that there is a lot of different opportunities in the community for rezoning, and there's a lot of updating that the zoning ordinance needs. So I'll be applying for funding through the CFA in July for 90% funding to pay for updating the zoning ordinance. Conduct a community housing needs assessment. Well, we really know that we need housing for seniors and for families, and there's been some competing things going on out there, such as short-term rentals. And so we're looking at that, but you have to look at it very detailed and strategically do an actual assessment and figure out what you need and how many you need and what the cost is going to be. And the cost is always a confining factor, but there is a lot of housing money available out there right now. So we aim to capture that. Route 9 corridor study. Well, I had a lot of comments about a bike plan, a hike plan, getting people from Lake George, getting people up into the mountains, into circular pathways and that kind of a thing. And that needs a lot more thought. And there are regional groups that are doing that now. And I think that is part of the corridor study, but also integrating, rural Route 9 as it comes into the Hamlet area and then down into the business, into the downtown business district, the library and all that are. It's a little awkward and it's not pedestrian friendly. There's a lot that could be done up in the corridor. So we want to look at that. A branding and marketing plan. So who are you? Well, we went through a lot. There's a lot in the plan. And this is also something that is easily funded, doesn't have to take a long time. And it will help direct the chamber and the different agencies in the town board as to what to do next. Historic and cultural interpretive plan plays right into that. And we know that you have this extraordinary group of features in the community that if you weave, and they all have individual stories, if we can weave the stories together and tell it so that people want to come and take the tour and really understand Lake Luzerne, that'll be a good thing. So those are the primary projects, and you will see there's lots of stuff that talks about studies and more work, but that's the way a comprehensive plan works. But it is very project oriented, and you'll see if you go to the website and open the plan, you'll see that every project is very well detailed out and a funding mechanism for it, a potential funding mechanism, cost too. We've outlaid that. And the last page in here are other recommended actions, and you can certainly look at that on your sheets and also online and see what those are. But that is essentially it. And tonight we have the State Environmental Quality Review Act, which we will go through, and we look forward to hearing your comments. It is a public hearing. So for the most part, we're not going to be responding to comments, but we will, if there's a specific question, certainly we. All right. Good.
All right, Tracy, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I will now open the hearing on the comprehensive plan. People are welcome to come up and give us your name, address, and questions or ideas or something we can work with. Anybody would like to come and talk? Come on up, sir. Didn't recognize you, John.
John Karipsky, Rose Avenue, Lake Luzerne, also on the planning board, and I was on the committee for the comprehensive plan. I just wanted to point out to anybody that might be against it for some reason, I don't know why, but this is a plan. It's nothing like we're gonna do this tomorrow. The town board has to approve everything we do. If we want to like the Priscilla Court, that's already on the plan. You guys already got that done. So, I mean, anything that we want, what we wanted to see on the comprehensive plan still has to go through the board. Whether it be a playground or a corridor, you know, something that's gonna cost money has to go through the, even if it doesn't cost, you guys have to make the decision. Yes, this is what we want to do. And obviously the public will be involved. You have a public hearing, whatever. But as far as this comprehensive plan, tell me if I'm wrong. The town really can't get as much done as they'd like to if they don't have a plan. Because we've been locked out of grants because we don't have a plan. And that's one of the scenarios. You have to have a comprehensive plan before they'll even look at you to give you a grant. Is that true? I mean, I know the zoning
Frequently.
right. And I think it helps, like going to the Senate, the state senators and everything, where you're showing them in Congress or whatever that we developed a plan, we want to move forward, we need certain things to get done. The town wants to move ahead. And the comprehensive plan is part of the scenario that this has to get done and hopefully approved, you know. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Supervisor?
Yes, sir.
I think we ought to give the people that worked on this comprehensive plan congratulations. They did one heck of a job. The hours that were spent, the meeting nights and the whole 9 yards to come up with this to help better our town. And everybody that was involved in it, I appreciate it. And I know my fellow members of the board are definitely excited to applaud you guys.
Thank you, Paul. Anybody want to say anything else? All right, then I will call the public hearing closed for now.
I have the floor for a second.
Well, sure.
One potential misconception is that this plan does not redo the zoning map. That's a logical next step. Okay, so the zoning map is not changing until we proceed with that project. Just so you know that this is the master plan, it's not the zoning map. Thank you.
Okay. All right, town clerk to read legal notices. Deputy clerk.
Just says I don't have to read it,
Oh, okay.
but it was published in the Post Star on May 22nd. The public hearing notice in the legal ads.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna close the public hearing. Open the floor to anybody that has questions on our resolutions.
Do you want to complete the secret process for that?
Do you want to do that? Brent?
I think we should do it now, yeah.
Okay. You want to take care of that?
You can read it?
I am. So the board needs to complete part 2 of the short environmental assessment form. So I'll read the question to you, and then as a board, you have to determine if there's no or small impact may occur, or a moderate to large impact may occur. Those are your only 2 choices. There's only 11 questions, so bear with me. All right, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations?
No.
Okay, so I'm seeing no.
I would say no. Sometimes you worry about, you don't see the plan yet to know if it's gonna be a no, but I'll say no.
Well, you have the plan.
Oh,
So you're
the other one
just
that we're
looking
working on.
at
Okay,
the-
you got it.
Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No.
No,
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
no,
I'm seeing 2 head shakes. I just want to put that on the record.
No.
A no, okay. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
no.
Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
No.
Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies?
No. No.
Will the proposed action impact existing public or private wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources? For example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No.
Will the proposed action create a hazard?
I didn't say it.
This is it. It's the last question. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
Okay, so you answered no or small impact to all 11 questions. So based on that, this is your choice, but you could pass a resolution naming yourself as lead agency and finding that there is no significant adverse environmental impact.
Did we pass the test?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
So that's gonna be number 66.
Yep.
So this will go-
So this is not approving the plan. This is just naming yourselves lead agency and saying there's no negative environmental impact.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried.
You wanna approve the plan tonight or not?
Say that again.
Do you wanna?
You want me to have the plan, Mike? Do you see it more or what?
You want to approve it?
I've read it.
I went to most of the meetings, so I'm comfy.
All right. You want to make a motion?
I will make a motion that we approve the proposed new master plan.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried.
I want to second my colleagues' comments. Thanks. A lot of the folks that worked on this are here. thanks for doing this. We got dozens and dozens of hours. It was a pleasure to work with y'all on putting this new plan together.
I'll finish that motion and Tim, you'll say the same thing, so we can move on. Thank you. All right, okay, now back to regular resolutions. Town clerk, want to read them?
Are you opening the floor to the public?
Yeah,
first?
we're gonna open the floor to the public. If they have any questions on what the resolution that we're gonna pass tonight or not.
Comments?
No comment. Well, you gotta read them.
Okay, resolution number 68 of 2023. To pay the bills of the sixth abstract as follows: general fund vouchers 1775 to 1846 for $55,649.48. Highway fund vouchers 1847 to 1878 in the amount of $23,876.85. SW one water district vouchers 1879 to 1884 in the amount of $6,570.29. SW two district vouchers 1885 to 1886 in the amount of $10,621.14. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Lori, was that?
Did you said 68?
Yeah, it's gonna change because we just did two.
Okay.
Oh,
You are
okay.
changing it?
Yep.
So what's
this
gonna
is
happen to
start
66?
68, okay.
66 is the secret
Oh,
approval.
okay.
Yeah, you did both, okay.
67 is adopting the master plan.
So this is 68 now.
These are just getting renumbered.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Gotcha.
So Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution 69 of 2023 to accept minutes of May 8th, 15th, May 8th and 15th and June 1st.
I'll make that round.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained, anybody?
All right, so I will do resolution number 70. It's gonna look a little different than what's on your page. So this will be authorizing an amendment to the agreement between trustees of the Guido and Lucy Passarelli Living Trust and the town, and authorizing the town supervisor to sign this amendment.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried.
That's 69, you said?
That was
That was
70.
70. Sorry, go ahead, Mike. Okay. Resolution 71 of 2023 to request a speed reduction on East River Drive in the area of 465 East River Drive, which is the southern end.
I'll make that resolution.
I'll second it, but I'd like a little discussion.
Mhm.
Yeah. But you gotta do a study on it though, right? You have to do the New York State study and all that before they do that.
I've already called the sheriff on it. And if anybody noticed, there's those tracking speed down on East River Drive. And the patrols have been down there twice a day.
But in order to change it, then we have to go to the
Thanks.
state.
Goes through the county.
This is what this resolution is allowing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Then this goes to the county, to go to the state.
Where are we talking about changing the speed limit?
Basically where it starts, ends now,
Yeah. From
East
the,
River Drive from Stewart's to 465, which is,
That's the road.
the gentleman that,
That would be the northern.
no, that's,
Southern end. Stuff
it's
like
the
that.
southern end, coming from Corinth Bridge to
Right in the area.
Like
Awesome.
that's got to be down by
All three.
460.
it's called street.
your house.
It's, that's right. It's called street.
Yes,
That's right.
highway superintendent.
Okay,
is
Bruce
in that
Lawrence's
area
house,
today.
But
basically Bruce Lawrence's house
Yeah.
whatever it is.
is where it is.
Okay,
That's
Chris,
a little
leave
bit
that.
south of me.
Yes,
It starts 55 at Dayton Drive, coming from Corinth back.
yes. So there'll be just a What about a mile stretch? Mile and a half
Mile and a half,
at 55?
yeah. Or
Left.
So
Sorry?
the intersection of Mountain Road is 55.
Yes.
What's the logic to that cutoff point?
I don't know.
This is just my opinion, having lived on that road for 10 years. Where it's the most dangerous is the other end,
When you said the other,
Down
you're talking,
the northern end.
you're talking here
The
from.
northern end.
Yeah, up where the road's
That's it.
15 feet wide, the houses are 5 feet from the road, and the river's
And the
5
river.
feet wide.
And there the mountain road.
But that's what it is.
No,
So southern,
it's the southern end. You know where, what's the thing?
The Christmas tree farm?
Huh?
It's not down that far.
Um,
oh, it's further up, well, that's part of it.
Mr. Dool can tell you where it is, because I had him
It's
go out there
before
today.
Beach Drive,
yeah,
Right.
it's in that area.
From Beach Drive to Corinth. It's gotta be further up than that. I'm 525. And
So it's
465 is not.
you know where Bruce Lawrence lives?
Country carpet.
Go past your house, the road,
It's up to your house, that, because
the road.
Right,
bends,
that's the
and it goes
address.
Kind of up a small hill,
you're the ending of it.
What we're
talking about is
just before,
road from the Christmas tree.
there's a
Right.
house.
He's trying to
Bridge, it's there, all driveway sets back. Blacktop. From there, to corn. Is where you're. to give you
What speed reduction are you looking for? Are you looking for?
55 to
40.
45. Doesn't say.
Doesn't say.
Well, it doesn't say on there.
We're looking for 40.
I think we have any.
Well, it's already 40 from the bridge. Am I correct? From the bridge up to,
From the bridge to the Christmas tree farm,
It's 40.
that crosses the end of Call Creek, or Call Creek.
Right.
correct?
Right. And
When
then
you get to the Christmas tree farm, it goes to 55,
5. Yeah.
or in reality, 65. And then it begins to reach one of those warning signs, the orange suggested speed limit sign and the snake back sign. And that's about
That's
where there's a series of blind driveways and a difficult time getting out of them. Dangerous.
So we're,
Since before Thanksgiving, we've had 7 cars go off the road through the end of my driveway on 2 occasions. And many other occasions where they took out men. And some of which aren't documented because the police don't know. They just get somebody to pull them out. I just lost a mailbox today.
I've had upside down cars and cars sideways. I've had cars climb up the barn across the street from my house. But I'm not in the area that we're talking about.
It's difficult to get the men.
No, I'm not.
Truthfully, I don't have a problem in the reduction,
I get out
but I'll tell you right now, we can put a darn speed limit out there at 30 miles an hour unless our local. State police, our sheriff's department patrol that and start cracking down. Ain't gonna be in the darn thing.
Well, have you seen any patrol cars there this week?
I have not seen any patrol cars, but I have seen the cables across the road. I've
Right.
seen the sign in the 40-mile-an-hour area just below the.
Yeah, that's what they're starting
below
with.
the
Yeah.
bridge.
There's a deputy that lives right there.
But the reality is, you can't. You have to have a speed limit to enforce.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's gonna be 40 or 45, because the state has to decide.
The state doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
And when you look at that road with cliffs and sharp turns and blind driveways, most of it is already recommended lower speed, most of it. But people don't do it. Those are the orange signs. If you look at 9N, straight as an arrow, they have areas that are 40 and 45. You know, it really is inappropriate. And I worry about crossing to get them in. That's how bad it is. We have to roll down the windows of the car, but listen for traffic.
You know where my house is? You know where my house is? You know where the old barn is real close?
That barn?
No, a little further up on the other side.
Okay, yeah.
It's real close to the road. Last summer, Thank God I wasn't checking my mail because somebody was coming south on East River Drive and was doing something. Went across the road, hit a tree, 2-foot tree, cut the tree off. And her back end of her car landed in that barn. If I'd been out checking my mail, I wouldn't be here.
Well,
I was out mowing. I saw them.
I was saved by 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I stopped
at the
end of my driveway.
That's a passing zone right where I'm talking.
It's not good. It needs to be reviewed and we appreciate the resolution to have it looked at.
From your experiences, Gene, what are the chances of us getting this passed?
It's hard to say.
What-
I don't think
what
we've
was
gotten,
happening with the-
in 10 years, I would say we put 10 in, we haven't gotten any from the state. Well, we never will unless we. But we have a good sheriff now. I sent it to him. I don't know, you sent it to me like on a Thursday. I sent it to him on a Friday. I was at a dinner with him and then he was there, he got it. Then I was talking to a patrol officer that was sitting at the same dinner. And he says, oh, I got your email from the sheriff. So they are working on it. But they have a lot of miles. That's the whole thing.
What would your personal opinion be of changing the whole road to 40?
I would think that would be great. I mean, we're driving along cliffs on windy roads with houses close by, blind driveways, 3 or 4 school bus stops. It's just ridiculous that it is the speed there. It's a tough road. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on it, and I think we have the right person as sheriff. Yeah, and it's on its way already to the county DVW. All right, let's-
So we got a second, so all in favor,
Aye.
opposed, hearing none carried. Okay. Resolution 72 of 2023, an intermunicipal agreement between the towns of Hadley and Lake Luzerne for the 2023 Summer Youth Program in the town of Hadley.
Make a motion.
Seconded.
All in favor,
Aye.
opposed, hearing none carried. Resolution 73 of 2023, resolve the town of Lake Luzerne authorizes $3,100 to the Lake Luzerne Chamber of Commerce for the 2023 season.
Where's that? I don't have it on my. agenda
Right.
sheet.
I sent you all an updated one.
the next to the last one is the last one, right?
It's the last resolution.
Came up with the agenda.
Last thing on my list is the resolution between Luzerne and Hadley.
I apologize.
They have the form they filled out. I didn't think to bring it.
The form, yes, I have the form that they filled out.
Yeah, requesting that money.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're better man than I.
Here's the application.
I've got that.
Second page is gonna bring it.
Yeah.
Where else?
I didn't give you an updated one. I apologize. I did email
have
them
to.
to you.
I got it.
Yeah, I got it.
I think. What is that in the package? You sit here on the table too?
You just didn't give me. You just didn't give me.
You're on one.
I'll get you over there.
It's why I'm really more.
Same kind of stick that.
So.
So
All right, we're back on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, Spence. Lake Luzerne Regional Chamber of Commerce, this adds up to 3,100. Insurance, 700, PO box rental, 65. Postage, $50. Website maintenance, $535. Activities map, 600. Holiday stroll, 1,000. Lake George Chamber membership, $150. Didn't we give the chamber money already?
That money was for the food trucks.
Yeah, but we gave them other money. Didn't we give them 3,000?
No, that's what this is.
I thought that was in the budget.
I know we gave them extra for the food
Food
trucks
trucks
and the bands.
and the band, and you have.
Actually, it's for the bands. I believe.
This runs their chamber,
Right.
that's all.
I guess my other question was, I noticed in the thing that was posted on our site that all the businesses got a free ride this year.
I can't answer that
Oh, yeah, our
question.
email said that,
Yeah,
that our own businesses don't.
don't participate in the funding of the Chamber of Commerce anymore.
Email said that.
And the only ones that are personal people. Okay. And that kind of surprised me because I always knew that when I was contributing, a business contributed, I think it was what, $75, wasn't it? Got to be close to that.
Yeah, it gotta be close to that.
Okay, and a personal was 25. Now I see by their message we got on our site that no businesses have,
Well, I don't think the word no, and I think they have some, but not all.
well, I guess they didn't go
It's tapering down.
and go after the businesses to help participate or what happened? I haven't gotten a letter in years. But
We have, in my opinion, we have a chicken and the egg problem. We need to revitalize the chamber.
yes,
And I don't know what comes first, the chicken or the egg. I don't know if the chamber should get going and then we fund it, or if we have to fund it to get it going. I hear stories about the chamber used to have 60 or 70 members.
Used to have 110 when I was checked, but give devil his due, we're able to carry health insurance through the chambers cheaper.
Yeah.
And all the insurance company cut that
So
out.
that was a
So major drop.
Yeah.
And then you get a lot of new businesses that, they don't want to, they don't understand it. Helps them, but. You want to table for now? We can table it. We can get more answers.
If we proceed, I'm gonna vote yes. I'm gonna vote yes with the caveat that I'm really concerned that our chamber is pretty near death. Which means I won't keep voting yes unless something changes.
I agree.
I don't
agree
mean to
with you, Seth.
criticize
Yeah, I agree.
the
I think they
president.
only have 4 active members that have, they just had a meeting the other day, and I know there were only 4 there, so.
well, we've asked this question before on how many people belong to the chamber at the present time. We know there's only about 3 or 4 people working it,
Working.
and that's a normal organization.
I
You get
think they got
50
about
people,
15.
you get
They
3 or
got
4 people that are looking to do anything.
3 or 4, 15 people, I think.
About 50.
Is that what it sounds to?
I don't know, is there a motion on the table?
I know.
I'll make the motion to give them the $3,100.
And I'll second it, and what you said, and if they don't make effort to get business people out and collect some more money,
I think it's,
next year will be tougher.
since we're on discussion, I think it's time that we ask the chamber to come up with what their plans are and outline in regards to membership drive, this, that, the other thing, and put down a schedule on what they're proposing to do for the upcoming year. Okay? If they're not putting this down or.
Well, I think a lot of it's in that application.
Yeah, well, I'd like to say membership drive from September 1st until October 1st or something like that,
I can read this thing to you in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, I know.
Name of event, yearly promotions, location event, November stroll, website. Please describe your event program, expenses for the chamber year 2023. Due to not receiving a large membership, all Lake Luzerne businesses have a free membership, others pay $25. That's what you saw.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I just.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they ought to come up with a plan of attack. An actual plan.
That'd be contingent on the 3100 or go ahead with.
Go ahead with the 31, but I'm not gonna vote for anything else unless we can see what they got planned.
All right, there's a hand up. Chris, there's a hand up for a question.
Hi, this is Linda Merlino. I'm one of the 4 members of the chamber that go to all the meetings. But what I just want to say is the chamber always had a paid secretary who would do a lot of the paperwork for us. And it hasn't had one in years. And that would really help because we're just business people trying to run our own businesses. And we really do need somebody to help us get the word out there. And that's all I have to say. But we do our best. And I think that the concerts in the park are going to be very successful. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you made a
I'm
motion.
done.
You made a motion?
Yeah.
I'll second it. Call the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried.
All right, thank you. Councilman Hanlon, any report?
I'm not report this time.
Councilman Lewandowski,
No, sir. No report.
Councilman Niall.
Doing a banner. Across the road. No, okay. No, I don't have anything.
Road
Oh,
superintendent.
wait, I'm sorry.
Hold on.
I do have one thing, well, but it could be at the agenda meeting. The Lake Luzerne Association is ready to kind of do their annual report to us, so I'm thinking we'll put it on the agenda for our next regular meeting.
Okay. If they get it to us before our agenda meeting, we can
Yeah,
read it.
they're ready now.
Okay.
Now
I
I'm
don't
really
know. Are you ready for that?
I know Mike is.
Yes.
He and I talked about it today.
Mike, would you like to say something on that? No, okay, good. All right, superintendent, Mr. Dool.
We have a 06 Volvo that needs a transmission. I brought it down to John down in Print for a second opinion. Because that's all they have down there are Volvos. This vehicle has roughly 180,000 miles on it. To put a rebuilt transmission in it is 4,600. A brand new one is 5,600. Hoping to keep this truck for quite a while longer, so we are going to do the rebuilt one. That's been ordered. I ordered that today, and while we got that out, we're going to put a clutch in it.
Yeah.
So
Is that amount
It's on the-
consistent with our purchase policy?
yes. Well, with the core, it might be more at first, but we get reimbursed the core. So.
Core charge.
Core charge.
I don't remember what it was.
Well,
Hopefully we can get the core out, and when we pick up the new one, we can do the swap right there, maybe it won't even be a core. Anyways. So that's what's going on with that vehicle, and we're gonna start work on Potash and Thomas Road. We got 2 culverts to do, and then we got shoulders, brushing. A lot, so. Now I'm just waiting for the word from Brent to pave the front side of Daniels and Ralph Road. Those are ready.
Are people taking the mulch?
Not that I know.
Not a lot, it's so,
I
I
think
think we
it-
gotta put a bigger sign there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, contractor sign.
We
Take all
can put
your
a sign. Yeah,
Ron, I'm taking the truckload this weekend.
There you go.
I'll put more up there for you.
Yeah,
I-
get a bigger pile out.
I think it's to certain people that will take it, because it's pretty bulky and it's not like the good mulch, but
It's free,
So a little
Yes.
work, it can be pretty decent stuff there.
yes.
It's not colored.
to the right person, put it that way.
Pink, you get color or something.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
anything else, Ron?
no.
All right. So we need a motion, go ahead and do, it's under the procurement policy. We all know, so we'll
Yeah.
say yes, okay. All right, Ron, you can do that.
Yep.
Zoning, Karen Putney,
Okay, you have my report. I'm sorry I got it out late, but we've been pretty busy.
I got it.
Yeah, thanks, Karen.
I did send out after the last board meeting, the report on Colony Drive that Councilman Lewandowski asked for. I don't know if I would assume that you've had time to look that over. I don't know if you want to do anything about that, but you have that report. We received a resignation letter from Jason Tyler on the planning board. Usually the town board moves the current alternate up to fill the vacated position. I don't know if anyone has spoken with Howard Schaefer regarding that, but we will need to advertise to fill a position, either alternate or permanent position to fill in where Jason has resigned. Chris Casea has put together a brief report for you on the short-term rental permit program that has now gone into effect and the different things that are happening with that. So I'll turn the mic over to him at this point.
Before we do, Chris, Howard's here. Are you willing to go move full-time on that board?
Yes, I am.
All right, if you guys will have him.
Perfect.
I said yes, okay, you move over now. We have to make a motion, I'm sorry, I make a motion, put Howard Schaefer
I'll
on.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
And
carried.
then we'll have to make a motion to put out an application to hire. Just do that, okay. Okay. And now, Chris, go ahead.
Well, we have 13 submitted applications up to this point, 0 permits issued. And approximately 30 have been distributed. I've modified the forms 3 times just to increase clarity. You know, I got the sense that that was necessary, and I see a potential need for fine tuning the regulations going forward. I've been talking to the attorney, well, communicating to some degree about the issues that I've experienced as far as applicants misunderstanding the regulations, and I see there might be a need for that in the future. But for now, it's very preliminary and nothing much more to report than that. Do you have any questions?
What stage are those 13 applications at?
Uh,
Obviously, they're waiting for a county inspection.
Some of them are waiting for county inspection. We've had a few of those come through.
County's already done them?
Yes.
Okay,
Guess we have
so
3 or
there's
4.
there's not been a 3-month holdup on getting the county there.
No, they're working at it.
Chris, would you make a comment on the call you got today about the one? So
Well,
people-
we had one fail the county inspection for a lack of bathroom ventilation. It's an old log home that would require a bit more modification to install a bathroom fan. And, you know, the resident was not happy about the fact that he has to modify the house to do this, but the county did not pass the inspection for the reason of bathroom ventilation and lack of.
That's a code that goes back,
That goes back.
way back. If there's no window, you gotta have a bathroom.
That's right.
Or a mechanical vent, you know, like a fan to ventilate it.
Yeah,
That's been in there for years.
yeah.
All right, I just wanted you to let them know that we had that.
course, old log homes, they didn't do that.
And it went outside.
There's a reason for that.
Anything else?
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, Karen, anything else?
No, that is it.
Okay, Deputy Clerk,
I've given you all our clerk report for May. The meter readers have been out last week and they should finish up tomorrow. They got delayed a little bit because of some rain showers last week. So that'll finish up tomorrow morning. And then billing should be out by the end of June. Collection on both districts will end on October 15th, and any unpaid bills at that time will be calculated and sent to Warren County to be re-levied on the 2024 town and county tax bills. Karen already spoke about the resignation letter from Jason Tyler. We received a letter of intent from the Lamplight Inn to renew their liquor license. And Cindy and I have been talking about doing a dog remuneration by mail. We've done one in the past. It's probably been maybe 7 or 8 years. It was pretty successful. The other option to that would be actually hiring someone to go out and do that, which would be pretty costly. They'd have to go to every individual home and assess how many dogs they have and this and that. And we do have the funds to do this because we did not use any of our budget to go to clerk conference in the spring. So we do have the money in our budget to do it. So we just wanted to let you know that we were gonna be doing that as well. And that's all I have.
Lincoln, all right,
Thank you.
just saying,
I don't.
you don't have a report. Gee, that just leaves me.
Excuse me, Jean, are you gonna report on Mr. Woodruff
Say that again.
for the Rockwell Falls Presbyterian Church? Do you want me to
Oh,
read that?
yeah, I got that on mine.
You have that, okay.
Well, you, good, you got it in front of you, I'd have to pull it out.
Mr. Woodruff from the Rockwell Falls Presbyterian Church, came in today and talking about using the pavilion, which they do every year. And it would be from July 2nd through September 3rd, and it's on Sundays from 8 to 9 for church services. The thing that they're asking is if they can be added to our event calendar on our website. So that would be your decision. And also they wanted to put up one of those A-frame signs and hook it to one of the poles out front of the park on Saturday and remove it on Sunday after services. And I have his contact information, and I'm gonna leave that up to one of the town board members to reach out to him.
Karen, can you comment on the sign?
It would be considered like a special event sign it's like a sandwich board. It would be allowed. This has to be removed after the event, which is what they've indicated they would be doing. No permit. required.
Sign was up there in the past.
Yeah.
They've had one, so I have no problem with that.
Okay, so you have no, Paul, nothing, problem?
No.
All right,
So y'all are in support of that?
yep, we're all in support of that.
Do one of you want to call him, or do you want our office to reach out to him?
Good.
Do it, or I'll
Like
do
to,
it.
it's fine.
You do it.
All right, why don't you reach out? Be nice hearing from you.
I'm confused. Are we reserving the park?
No,
It's really still first
Just
come,
one
first serve,
First come, first. served.
First come, first served.
but they've
Okay,
always
I
done
just
it,
wanna
and they
make
know
sure
that,
that's-
yeah.
I just,
It's early enough, I don't think they'll have any problems.
I agree.
I think coming back up to the situation of the pavilion in town. I noticed that back when the pavilion was built, that anybody who wanted to use it had to come to the town hall and reserve it. This automatically put dates down and people who are using it. Over the years, for some reason, we got away from this. And I can't believe how that at one time or another, a situation didn't occur when two people of two different groups got there and they're both saying, I'm gonna use it, or I'm gonna use it, and something happens. If I'm not mistaken, unless my information that I received is incorrect, I think it should go back to the town clerk to set up that calendar again and dating it for people to use it. and stop possibly a major situation from occurring. I know it happened to me last year. I wanted to use it and I found out that didn't have to, but the day before the event, it was being used for a town event that I wasn't aware of at the time. And I had a scramble with 75 people coming for a memorial service. If it had a calendar listing done like it had been done for years, this would have been eliminated. It doesn't take much to put it on a calendar and say, sorry, sir, this place is used on June 5th. Okay, or yes, it is available. That's my opinion, and I'd like it reinstated.
Well, I would agree with that.
May I comment on that, please?
Sure.
It's not as simple as just putting it on a calendar, okay? If we start reserving the pavilion, and then there's more things that come along with it. It's not just saying, okay, yes, it's available for you today.
Mhm.
It's how many people are going to be there? What is it going to be for? You have to bring your garbage in and out. Who's gonna be responsible for cleaning up the park if they don't? Who's gonna be watching all of that? The clerk's office is not responsible
Answer me.
for that part.
Right,
So that's something you guys have to work out if you were to go back to doing this. I mean,
I'm not disagreeing, Lori, but at the
because
same
there's a lot of
time,
branches to it, is what I'm saying.
there was I'm assuming a graduation party there this weekend. Okay,
No.
Oh, I think it was a family reunion, but.
Family- okay,
No,
fine.
no, you both
Okay.
these are wrong. It was a 50-year class reunion at the Hadley Luzerne.
is that what it was?
That's what it was.
Okay,
And they.
Great.
They called us Thursday, Friday,
okay,
to
that
make sure the bathrooms were open. So, you know,
but at the same time, the average person, say Jim goes up with his family and wants to have a class reunion, none of us, they could leave that place a mess. And we have no idea who has created this mess or who is going after it to clean up that mess. Now we're expending town people to take care of the mess. And this is where I'm saying, if we hand them a piece of paper saying you are responsible for this, this, and this, and whoever signs that piece of paper gives you a copy of their driver's license and their signature, that they're held responsible.
I believe you gotta have,
That's as far as you gotta go.
I believe they gotta have some sort of insurance, don't they?
Well,
Hadley
No,
demands
the
that.
town does.
I think Hadley want people using theirs to have
I know
check on that. I think they want some sort of,
It
So it's like
costs
$25
$75 for
or
me to
something
have
like
it over there.
so you guys would have to come up with some
we'll come on.
rules and regulations
I
and
agree.
an application. That's not up to us to come
Okay.
up with that, is what I'm
I'd be
saying.
willing in a couple weeks.
Maybe a
to
workshop.
work on a application form.
Come over to the house, I'll be more than happy. to
so,
work
so,
with
okay, so we've always had it, right? It never went away. We've always had reservations are needed. It just never went away. It's just
Went
one of
away
the
about
practice.
5 years ago when we
you.
had,
About 5 years ago,
when
just,
we had the feud that he's talking about. Because one had the permit and the other one didn't.
So, but is what Paul's bringing up is that the town always had this practice. We were supposed to have reservations.
well,
And we-
that's
we
kind of
just- we don't
faded
do
away
it.
over the last number of
So
years.
the rules are there.
Because
not that we need
the
new
problem
rules, the
is
rules
somebody
there.
has the permit and a
I don't
bigger
think
group
there's
wants to
a
come in,
rules
there's a
and
battle.
reservation.
Yeah, no, yes, I understand that. But if you're talking about making a permit system, you already have a rule there. We just haven't been enforcing it.
I
Just
don't
haven't
think
been.
that's true. I don't think there's.
There's.
Is there a rule? That's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Is there a?
I don't think, right?
There was a rule in 2006, if you want to look back in your.
2006.
Town,
What was it? Was it a local law? Was it an ordinance?
it was an ordinance.
Yeah.
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 Yes. So we're-
Did
Did
I
they
send
have
on
a
book?
permit just for a normal
No.
event like that? No.
Oh. Permits for specific things. I know, I've
Yes.
Seen it.
It needs work on it.
Concerts, drama shows, parades, drills.
Yeah,
fairs.
that's the one we saw that.
But that's not just someone using the pavilion. Those are specific
Yeah,
things that need a
Right.
permit.
That's a general umbrella.
That's not a pool, right?
No, it's not.
We started doing it because people were wanting to do like wedding receptions and stuff. So we kind of made up our own little form and they would come in and sign it and whatnot. But it really didn't have any rules and regulations and things like that. And it wasn't really it was just kind of an informal so that if somebody came in to use the pavilion and they were having a wedding reception, they could say, well, we've reserved the pavilion.
Gotcha.
But there was really never anything in writing other than that.
Gotcha.
And so we kind of got away from it because it got to be where every weekend
Yep.
it was somebody's wedding reception or party. And to be honest with you, it was a huge percentage of out-of-town people. And I was upset one weekend. I brought my family up. You couldn't even get near the place.
Right.
And there was a band and people all over for a wedding and you couldn't even get near the place.
Yeah, basically, if you want to use that,
So it's something you guys need to work on.
have somebody there at 6 o'clock in the morning sitting there.
You know, that's what they did Saturday, because I
Oh, I know.
reminded them of that.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd have to put a restriction,
I
a
think
cap
we
on
gotta-
what kind of events you could have there. I mean,
Yeah.
the place has gotta have the bathroom facilities, has gotta have the ability to have that many people there.
Can I say something real quick? The Usher's Park in Lake George. Oh, I'm not loud enough. Usher's Park in Lake George. Someone that I know from the library just reserved that. And Usher's Park Pavilion is free to Lake George residents, but non-residents, they charge $150. And there's a form you have to fill out, and I'd be happy to get you a copy of that form. If
Please.
you would like and give it to Jim.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be great,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Something together, guys.
You guys want
Kind of Jim?
All right.
Okay.
It's gonna be real, maybe I'll just mirror what Hadley does. Hadley does the same thing. They do like a permitting system for,
Yeah.
just,
charge.
don't just
And they charge.
reinventing the wheel, just see what they do.
They say charge.
Yeah,
Another problem was drinking. That's what stopped the weddings when they stopped
Yeah.
drinking.
It's kind of two issues with their interconnect.
There-
Yeah.
Reserving.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to add a whole bunch of stuff on the ladies. They've got enough to do. in the
Yeah,
town.
that's the
But at
problem.
the same time, if we can come up with a form, yada, 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 and basically make it so all they do have to do is look at a calendar. That would be all right, Laurie?
You were out.
But that won't be all we have to do. We have to work with them on the permit process and make sure that whatever rules you guys have, they know what they are and everything else, and so.
You hand them a piece of
Takes a little
paper
work.
and you have them sit right there and read the rules and regulation and have them sign that. Okay, that they are aware of it. We'll try to make it as easy as and clear as possible for you. How's
We
that?
have a,
That's all.
We have a constable again.
Yeah,
All right. Can we move on, gents?
Yes.
you got a lady's hand. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We were just discussing that.
You got to speak in the mic because you're very.
We were just discussing, my sister and I, that the chamber needs to bring something themselves up. This would be a good thing for them to do. They need to also show everybody out there that they're a real good chamber. And I'm sure these people, like your wife who spoke, said that they work hard. Well, put this to the chamber. It's part of the chamber's business.
We'll bring that up when we discuss it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, quickly, Spectrum has given Chris. We're looking to get Wi-Fi in the pavilion. And it's gonna be $148, $149 total monthly for it. And
No,
people-
you said a year.
a year.
Is that per year?
It's
or-
1,800
year.
for the year at 149 per month, and there's an initial hookup fee for $99. A one-time charge. The
That's
hookup fee is
$200.
waived, but there's other charges associated.
Okay, I'm wrong. Yes, it's a month. But
Is
that
this,
could come
is
out
that
of,
Wi-Fi can be open to the public or have to be get passed?
Yes,
for it?
the Wi-Fi would be installed there for everyone to use, even when the food truck event is not going. So it would be 24-hour Wi-Fi essentially, and it would reach the beach as well. So you would have Wi-Fi at the Wayside Beach as well as the pavilion, basically the upper half of that park, the northern, closer to the school, closer to the beach, that side of the park.
Can we try it for a while? Or is this a year
It's gotta be-
contract? or
it's
how's
gotta
it?
be year
There's a
contract.
1-year contract.
Almost $1,700 a year. For a thing that's going to be basically used 3 months of the year. Is what we're talking,
10 nights a year.
And by
and a half
people,
a dozen people that's.
they want to stop,
nine in.
they want to stop to check their email.
What was explained to me was the food trucks want to use a point of sale system that requires a better Wi-Fi connection in order to do credit card sales. Essentially, if they don't have this, they would have to do cash only. So it increased the revenue for them at these events.
How did you hear about that?
Cool.
How did you hear that the food trucks want?
Oh, they sent it to me.
That my contact was Sam Zappas. He was the one that
You
I
said,
believe he's associated with the chamber, from my understanding.
Did we get any contracts yet from the food trucks? Have you issued any permits?
We have issued a few,
One?
no, a few, probably, don't quote me on it, I think 4 as of right now.
Okay,
But there's still plenty of time for the
okay.
Yeah.
vendors to come
Well,
in.
That's better than none, because the
That's-
last time I was at the meeting, we had 0.
Yeah, no, we have gotten quite a, well, I wanna say maybe
3 or 4.
4, maybe.
So the goal is
Okay.
the goal is to get this Wi-Fi for food trucks.
For 6 weeks for this
6
event.
weeks for food trucks.
And because of the contract, it
For
would be
$1,800
installed
a
there
year.
for the rest of the year. For $149.
their permits, what, $25 for one night?
Each event, yeah.
Each night.
Yeah, we had one vendor that is bringing 3 different trucks and signed up for all.
So he's paid $75 for the 6 weeks, 2 trucks,
We-
25
yeah.
apiece.
Each week, yeah.
I'm just looking at money going out as opposed to money coming in.
That's, yeah.
You know, but investment net gain to, what are we gaining? I mean, is it bringing business into the town? It's not.
Well, how do you know?
This is not, we have no restaurants in town. We
Well,
had one, but unfortunately, the business is business and it closes. It's not their fault. It's just the way business goes.
yeah, no, I'm saying, you know, because anything that happens with that stuff, because this money should come out of the OPEC.
We have $1,800 a year. I'm just saying, you see where I'm going. I mean, $1,800 a year for something to be used by. I don't know.
Gene,
Where's
did
the
you hear
investment
back?
here? I'm just trying to figure out the investment.
Did you hear back from Sam, Gene?
No, I didn't.
We've been trying to get in contact with him.
I called him too today.
When I spoke to him about this, we had a few minute conversation about it, and he implied that he was gonna put the bill. So we haven't heard back from him, so I can't say anything more than that.
How long will it take to set it up once we give them green light?
Well, that's
In
the
other
other
words,
thing
can
is that
wait?
we should have had this going yesterday.
Yeah,
And, you know, they kind of wanted a decision sooner than later in order to get it ready and installed for the first week. In theory, we could run the first week without it and then have it there for the second week, but they could expedite the job if
When's our first week?
July 12th,
By
it's a
12,
Wednesday.
Revisit it.
so it's about 4 weeks from now or whatever.
Tom?
Okay, credit card processing on a cell phone?
Well, we don't have enough bandwidth there apparently well, we're here in the town hall. We're talking about at the park. There isn't enough cell phone signal there from my understanding, and that's why Mr. Zappas wanted to have this level of Wi-Fi.
It's just the investment for
There
1,800.
were salespeople, they were pushing the whole year. I suppose there's gonna be a disconnect fee, not quite sure. Good question.
I know where you're coming from.
I'm just looking for, just looking for net positive, net positive gain here for the town.
all right.
Chris, I can't hear.
You can't
I'm
hear.
sorry.
them.
I was just saying, I've done shows, I used to do a lot of shows myself. It is beneficial to have some type of Wi-Fi. A lot of people don't carry cash anymore.
So it's good to have those, but I was just telling him, I know with Square, you can still do a point of sale. If you don't have service, it will eventually go through when you have service. But I think it is something to look into, but,
Do you think the town should spend $1,800 to help out the food trucks?
well, how much is the permit for the food truck?
$25 per truck per night.
And you're talking
Is that,
6 events.
is that the going rate?
This is
At other
what we're
events?
charging.
Well, that's what our permits. So,
I feel like you probably could have charged
So
more.
that gentleman basically has signed up, you said, for 6
one-
events.
Yeah, one vendor was
with
$300
trucks.
alone with, with all their permits.
Okay, so $75 times 6. Is what, $400?
yeah, the permits aren't gonna cover it.
Yeah.
But there's the other issue is it worth it to the town to help these trucks out so more people come? Stop and buy gas,
I mean, I think if it.
whatever.
It's for them. They gotta be, it's in their, if it's in their business model, they have to have a business model that's gonna be able to take on this kind of a subject like this of how do I get paid being a mobile food truck when people have cash? They have to, you know what I mean? I think they're well versed in this. It's not their first rodeo. I think they've done this before and dealt with it. I mean, it would make it a lot easier for them, but I'm just looking at, you know, now it's costing us money. It's costing us money. I mean,
Yeah, we're about $12,000 on this.
you know what I mean? And
Basically, it's
Yeah,
you know what I mean? We're basically, you know, I don't mean, you know, negative about it, but
12,000 into it right now.
12,000 into it, but that's what I'm saying is what the negative, the positive gain for the town. I mean, if we got 12,000 into it and got 13,000 in the night, it's like, oh, you gained $1,000 and it was a good night for the town. Okay. Use it, put it to it's the tax roll, but
do you think that guy's gonna call you back? Do you think he's blowing you off or you don't?
I don't know what to think. The other facet of his interest was to provide the ability to live stream from the event, I guess for publicity, to be able to broadcast live. But we're talking, this is for a coax connection, which doesn't have the type of bandwidth to provide that capability for more than 10 people at a time. So it has limitations. We could price out fiber, which is available there, but that's quite
Probably a lot
expensive.
more than $149.
Yes, but that's what you would need in order to achieve the event level Wi-Fi that when we had our conversation, he was interested in. So,
I don't know, I might suggest see if they'll do half of it. Think about that.
Half, we mean half of it.
If the food trucks will pay $900 a year, we'll pay the other $900.
try it for a year. Try it for a year. And then
It's also hard to go now to people now at this stage of the game that, like this gentleman's already bought a vendor could X amount of dollars for the trucks. Okay, and now you're going to say, well, if you want Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's
Go ahead.
if you guys, you know,
Try it for a year.
I just want to see a positive gain. I just don't, everything costs me. I like to see something that generates money. I mean,
You wanna try it?
it's tough enough now. I mean,
Yeah,
try it for a year and we'll revisit it.
yeah.
And I want to see some sort of
I
gain.
make a motion that we. Chris?
I was gonna say, you kind of have two meetings going on.
Yeah, let's sit down, Chris.
I make a motion that we authorize supervisor to go ahead with this $148.99 a month.
1 year,
To get Wi-Fi in the park
1 year.
for 1 year.
You got a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, carried.
All right, the last thing I have is, I was called the other day from the state. That's investigating criminal activities or such a thing of, problems in town like Luzerne. They had, this started 2 years ago. And we have 2 audits. One was through the state and the other one is for the town. The one that for the state was for any criminal charges. And she brought back 4 boxes of files that she took out of my office 2 years ago and my computer 2 years ago. And she brought them back and told us they found nothing wrong and they're closing the case on the criminal investigation. So it's cleared up. I got my computer back. Anybody needs a computer because I already bought a new one. But so that's, we do have a town, we have another audit by the, another part of the auditor, state auditors. And we're working on that one right now. We'll have more information when we have the meeting with them. Anything else from the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Sure.
I'm Rosa Boyle, 16 Commons Lane, which is in the Northwoods Association. I am their president, and I'm here to certify that you received the letter from our attorney, Matt Fuller, addressed to your attorney, Ms. Kissane, regarding the tax district and the dam repairs that we have been discussing for several years now. Once again, we request that we have a meeting with the board regarding this matter. We have,
What was the last correspondence? What are they saying now?
I have the letter if you'd like me to read it.
How long is it?
It's short.
Please, please.
Dear Mary, I write in response to your letter of March 24th, 2023. While we understand the contents of your letter, there are facts that already exist that complicate the town's response. More pointedly, the town board already passed a resolution establishing the district, and the town board is aware of this. On February 19th of 1993, the town board held a public hearing, adopted the resolution, including a bond resolution for $60,000 worth of work the last time. The town board is in possession of the deed to the property for the district and for which the work was performed back in the mid-1990s. The fact that this deed apparently was not recorded does not mean that it was not delivered, particularly given the facts in this letter and in the town's records. The town of Lake Luzerne borrowed the funds, the work was completed, and the town billed the district property owners for the work. I reiterate our request to meet with the town board. The act of following up with the map, plan, and report now for the current project was to help clarify the records of this district. That the district has not accrued funds or needed work in years is not controlling. It would appear that further research would have been prudent prior to March 24th letter, but my clients would like to proceed in good faith from here. Matthew Fuller, Esquire.
And what was your reply?
I'm actually really glad you said that publicly because I did all my research, so I didn't need to do more, but I didn't tell your attorney everything that I found out. So I did my research and I advised my clients and they don't want to form a district. So
The point, our point is that the district is already
it's
formed.
not, it is not. So maybe your attorney should do more research.
Well, I'm sure he will then proceed with more a FOIL Act and so on, for more information on that. But if we had the tax district, we borrowed the money, we did the work. State law at the time and still to this day says that once that bond is approved, the town becomes the owner of that property. So that is the case.
Can I ask a quick question? Is there a reason due to the fact that you have an association there, correct?
Mhm.
Why isn't the association themselves putting it all together? Okay,
Putting what all together?
in regards to saying, okay, we have 50 people in the organization or in the association. Okay, we're getting ready to do this. It costs X amount of dollars. Each one of the people that are in this community has to
I can
put
tell
forward
you
X
exactly
amount of
why.
dollars.
It is.
And you fund it and set it up yourselves. Is there a reason for it?
Yes, there are several reasons. First of all, it is an association, but it was set up back in 1930s or so. So we have no way of even collecting dues, which are 250 at this point, let alone, you know, a large amount of money.
Was that 250 a year?
250.
I used to live on Northwoods Road.
Okay,
I lived up on the tourist painted pony on the end right there,
okay.
the White House in the end there.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just curious because
so that is the primary reason. So, and most of the people, many of the people would pay whatever we assess them, but there are other people that would not. And we just felt that this is something that contributes to everybody's benefit, you know, the lake is there and everybody should pay their fair share.
Is that
This
you want?
this is the way we've done it in the past. It gave us 10 years to pay it back.
have you got a legal association
We have
set up?
a legal, well, what do you mean by that? It is a legal association, yes.
Okay, you got a
Corporation,
president.
You have a
treasurer,
checking.
everybody here.
yep,
Rose,
You got a
yeah.
list of all the people that belong in the association.
yes, we do. We have maps and so on,
And they are aware they're in the association
yes,
and they know their ins and outs of the association.
yes. Yes.
Do you have a checking account?
We send notices and we have a checking account, yes, we do.
Okay.
To the people, the people who are not in the association, they don't have access to that beach, do they?
No, the private.
So to ask. I used to live there, to ask a resident who does not belong to the association to partake in a special tax district, to pay for a dam or a project for something that they cannot enjoy. It's taxation without representation.
But they are.
No, I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm saying that.
If they live there,
But I can't use the beach if I don't pay the association fee.
no,
I was told I could not when I lived there.
well, you know, we.
It's very, I know, I'm just,
Force that.
my point being is a little bit more difficult than just saying everybody pay. If they don't want to belong to the association. If they're paying for a dam that they, you see what I'm getting at? You have to pay for this dam, but you can't use the beach.
And that's what you're asking the town to put together. Okay, and make everybody pay for it, but those people can't use it.
Unless they
Unless they
join the
pay to do it.
association. I'm just,
But,
it's,
you know,
these are the questions they're going to come up with this.
Nonetheless,
things
It's a catch-22 in your respect of the association, and it's a catch-22 in regards to the town situation. You see what we're saying?
But the only thing, the town
I'm not
situation is
sure.
the law of the state of New York says we cannot do this for you, rent, borrow the money and then charge you all unless we take over the ownership of the dam. That's the
that's-
problem. That's the only problem.
Well, the point is you've already done that.
Well-
And therefore you already own the dam and you are responsible for it.
We
That's
have no
the point
records of
we're at
that.
right now. Well,
I don't know why. I just don't know why, but 1993, that's a long way back.
There is the deed, need to know. That there is the deed
Well,
that
just-
our attorney said that you people have in your possession. There is a deed that our attorney said that you have in your possession.
So why don't you have your attorney send a copy of that deed to us? Don't just put it in a
No,
letter.
he does not, he does
We
not
don't have
have
a
the
deed
deed.
either.
That's not
The-
true.
The former attorney, the former town's attorney stated at a meeting that a deed existed. Okay, we don't know. I
We don't know where it
personally
is, that's
exactly
the
where
problem.
It is, but
We're all commenting on a conversation that
obviously knew where it was. If he said that it.
we didn't partake in this
All we're
conversation, no
asking-
one here, so we wouldn't know
Okay.
unless the lawyers knew. We weren't there, so no one here was there.
That would make sense. That's why we're asking for a meeting to discuss this. Right.
Think we have a deed?
Go ahead, man.
I'm from the Northwoods Association too. There was a meeting, I don't recall the exact date, in December,
December 12th or something like that.
December 12th, where this town board said that there indeed was a deed. It is on tape. We watched it. So somebody needs to look at that tape.
All we gotta do is have the proof.
Listen to what you all said. You can't find it. That's not,
If it's not.
It exists.
Warren County, it hasn't been filed. with-
Guys, you know what we're doing? No, listen, you know what we're doing? We're making legal comments and none of us are lawyers. Like, there's only one person in the room who's a lawyer. Let's get the two
So
lawyers
our
together and they will work it
proceeding
out.
is that we have a meeting.
Let's-
with our attorneys. and-
Let's, everybody save their breath and just go over to let the
Nothing to
legal.
Work out unless a copy of the deed is sent to the town board, because the board has made the statement they don't want to own the dam. And at this exact moment, we have no proof that the town owns the dam. So if that conversation changes, we need the deed.
I think you should read the minutes back.
Just because the town board says something doesn't mean it exists, and I wasn't town council at that time, so.
That's okay.
Very sorry.
Yeah, that is, but I really heard those right.
If your lawyer is saying the deed exists, how could he know that without seeing it? And if he has seen it, why doesn't he send it to us?
Because your past attorney said that. He
I
said
don't
that
care who
meeting.
said what. It doesn't matter.
Well,
If
based
your
on
lawyer
that.
says we have it, then that means he's verified something. Which means he must have seen it. I just ask him to send it to us.
No, he's not saying that he's seen it. He's saying that you have, or your attorney had admitted that such a deed existed.
Why did your attorney accompany here tonight? That'd been great. We could have
Well,
had this,
he
we
would
could have
have,
had a
but he's
conversation. It'd been
also the
great.
Attorney for Town of Day.
Have him come to the next board meeting. Have him come in here.
I
Have him
suggest we
come in here.
have,
Put ourselves on.
Okay.
on
I think it's better off we take the middlemen out of it, the middle people out of it,
Well, certainly.
and let the legal people talk it and get it over with. Because I'm not a lawyer, you're not, none of us are here, unless one is. Because you know what I learned? You let the lawyers talk it out. Because this creates nothing but hard feelings. With possibly with people who are friends, who kind of go a little cross at each other, and everybody's known each other, and let's avoid that. Let's let.
Sounds good.
So I can say what?
Let's work it out.
We'll have the attorney come to the
We
next
will let the
board
two lawyers
meeting,
talk
but we
about it.
will not be on the agenda. It will be.
I would suggest that the town board have an executive session with our lawyer first.
With our lawyer.
Yeah. Why don't we find out the nitty gritty details that Mary has found out? Then we can decide whether or not we should meet with their lawyer.
My point was let the lawyers talk it out. We're not lawyers.
I think the problem is we have talked it out and that went nowhere because there's no deed. The district wasn't properly formed and now this is their last resort.
That's what happened originally.
That's not what we said at that meeting. Are there old minutes way back that can be except brought out so we can see what was done back in 1990s? There has to be some kind of record.
Well, we actually do have the resolution that was signed. I have that. And that's why it's listed here. Okay,
And we pay.
so I should ask him to attend. Is that the final decision?
I think the best thing is what Mr. Niles had said. We'll discuss this. We can send you a letter saying what our conclusion is, okay? And we can go from there. How's that? And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Can I just say one other thing about the dam?
Yes, ma'am.
If that should go, and I'm not saying it for any other reason that it will affect the whole town.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna go right down from our dam down to Luzerne. So that's something to keep in mind too, I think.
Thank you.
And I'm not trying to be dramatic. The dam at this point is not in risk of like collapsing the culvert. It's not, it's actually the culvert. But if it does, it will affect all the way down.
Oh,
No disagreeing, but don't forget.
I just want that to be known. That's.
We know it. We know it. When a dam fails, everybody downstream gets it. We understand that.
And of course, it's all being fed from Lake Bernard to yours and yada, yada, yada.
Exactly.
Okay, which of course, in the winter time, you drain,
Not right now, we don't, because the culvert's back in there.
you didn't drain that down last winter?
We didn't. We ever drained it down in what, 3 years, Rose?
Okay,
At least. maybe
okay,
5.
years past, you drained it right down.
I think it's pretty big, pretty low last one.
Yeah,
We take the boards out every winter. which
well, that's
all-
what I'm saying, the boards are gone, because the water coming out of Lake Bernard going into that area is a creek. It's,
Right. It
the
naturally.
water is lowered tremendously. Okay. And basically, if you look at the whole situation up there coming out of Niger Creek, I think they call it now. Okay, which now dumps into Lake Vinar into your lake and on down the chain. Okay, yeah, Allure, I'm sorry. If that dam did dissipate, yes, it would be a period of time. But that lake would end up being a creek, and so would Lake Vinar and right on up down,
Okay.
which we don't want to see, of course. Okay, and go from there. I know where you're coming, but to do a tremendous amount of damage to property and things of this, if that blew out.
Back in the 50s, it did, there was a big rainstorm and the dam failed and
Yeah.
flooded the Punt Painted Pony and farther on down. And there was a whole lawsuit brought against the people who owned it at the time, and
Yeah,
rightfully so. And yeah, the structure that we're trying to repair would allow us to draw the lake down in an emergency. If we know there's a major storm coming, we could maybe remove some of the water and, you know, give it some hope of surviving, but
thank you very much.
okay. Thank you.
I just had a quick question.
All right, one more back there. Go ahead. Chris, give her the microphone.
I just had a quick question about the dam. I mean, I live in Second Lake, so I mean, everything flows down. If something was to happen with that dam, who would be responsible for fixing it?
At the present time,
Who actually owns it?
I would imagine who owns the dam.
Who's got the deed?
Am I correct, Mary?
Yes. How come we pay
So Northwoods Association. They're the ones that own the dam presently.
And would that be fixed in like a timely manner, like? Just out of curiosity.
ownership of the dam? Town, that's why we're dams being for housing. People don't have the money to fix the dams.
I think we're kind of going around and around in circles here.
Well, let's go with what we
You guys
decided.
agree with that?
Yeah, let's go.
Going around in circles.
Let's go ahead and what we said we're gonna do and.
Do you have any-
I don't have anything.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Second, okay. Thank you all for coming.
Yes, how are you? Hi, how are you?
This is the website.
Ooh. Huh?
I can share.
I didn't know